Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. We are in that week between Christmas, Hanukkah, and New Year's, and it's a great time for New Year's resolutions. So here's the deal. I've been talking to different people about different resolutions, and I got a great email from a dear friend of mine, Skip, who's had quite a few New Year's in his life. Not that I'm saying he's older. He's a little older than I am, but we're both old. So I wanted to know what his New Year's resolutions were, and I love it. He said he likes to spend about an hour thinking about 7 different areas of his life where he can sculpt a resolution around each of these 7 areas. I think it's so useful, so important, and so biblical. I want to give you all 7 areas so you can be thinking about them. Now, these are in no certain order, but the first one he has is his physical body. Asking himself, what resolution, what decisions could I make that will help me take care of my body? Now, that's a very important thing. Your body is in some ways a temple of God, Paul says to the Corinthians. Though I think he may have been talking about the church at large. It's equally applicable to our physical bodies. In other words, God seeks to dwell within us. And so if you think of your body as a temple, and I said to one of my friends one time who had put way too much food on his plate, and I said, "Hey, Bob, you know that verse about your body being a temple of God?" And he looked at me and with earnestness in his voice, and he said, "Do you think God wants a small temple?" I don't know. But to take care of yourself is a biblical concept, to take care of your body. The second area that he looks at is his relational life. And this is his family and his friends. And this is his neighbors. And remember the biblical injunction to love your neighbor as yourself. That's a 2-part injunction. It recognizes that you do love yourself appropriately, but it also recognizes the importance of loving your neighbor. And so I want to urge you to consider that as another area. How can I have better relations with family, with friends, with those around me? Third area, intellectual life. How do you take care of your mind? Paul talks about the renewing of our minds in his letter to the Romans because it's so important that we take care of ourselves and our minds, how we think about things. And we get neural pathways that develop, and we need to figure out how to modify those and let God change those so that we're more godly in our thoughts. How do we take care of our intellectual life? How do we challenge our mind? How do we grow intellectually? A great area. Fourth area, your vocational life. How do you better do your job? The Bible talks about God calls us into work. He did not create Adam and Eve and say, go have a vacation. He created them and put them to work. And it's a God-given responsibility to do your work and to do it well. So how can you better do your job? That's the fourth area. Fifth area, financial life. Make some resolutions that help you be better financially. Did you know that there are more verses about finances in the Bible than there are about, I never counted, but there's a ton, okay? There's a boatload of them. The idea of giving to God out of your first fruits, the idea of stewardship, recognizing everything you have is something that God's given you, that you've been blessed to be a blessing to others. How can you better make financial decisions to make you a better steward of what God's put in your care? That's number 5. Number 6, your recreational life. Now, a lot of people are saying, wait a minute, that doesn't sound godly. A recreational life, that's like playing. Yes, there's a time to play. God has made us where recreation, take it apart and look at the word as recreate. It's a chance to restore some sanity and normalcy, to energize us for the tasks at hand. So how do you better secure that recreational time God gives you to best be who you can be? And then last, but certainly not least, is your spiritual life, your walk with God. How can I better do things next year to have a better walk with God? So I love these 7 areas from Skip. Thank you, Skip, for sending them to me. You are a wise man and a wise brother. And I think we can all spend that time looking at these 7 areas. Play this again if you need to. Jot it down. But come up with a resolution to grow in all of these areas, and your 2023 is going to be dynamite. I guarantee it. And that is your video thought for the day.